Hello there, welcome to new video in software engineering. Unit 3, chapter 2. Today we are going to see something about architectural style and pattern. This is the part where we are going to discuss today. So we are going to see architectural style and pattern. Each style describes categories that include, there are different styles, so we are going to discuss different styles. Set of component like database, computational models and everything. Set of connectors, what type of connectors, communication, how they are going to do it. Constant, what are the condition they are going to take. Component level integration, constant, and unable to design to understand overall properties of the system. So each design have different methods. We are going to see different, which is the set of component, set of connectors, constraint, and semantic model, overall design. So what is an architectural style and pattern? So architectural style is nothing but transformation of entire system. It gives you the structure of imposed for the design of entire system, whereas architecture pattern transfer the imposed on design of an architecture. Here style is nothing but entire system, whereas here architecture of a system. Architecture of a system. Patterns, what are the patterns you are going to, how you are going to design. Different between architecture style and architecture pattern. Scope of pattern is less boarded because it's just showing you design, what are the focus on one aspect, component another, whereas style focus on entire system. Architectural style focus on entire system, whereas here it focus on only one architecture. There are different architectural style which is been there are data center architecture, data flow architecture, call and return architecture, object oriented return architecture, layered return architecture. So architectural style is on entire system, whereas pattern on one imposed on a design of an architecture. This is on entire system. So what are the different things of entire system? These are the different things on entire systems. Now we are going to see all those things, these 5 parts, and then again we are going to see architectural pattern. So in this video we are going to see this one. So data center architecture, it is integratability. At any time I can attach or at any time I can change the storage. The architecture will promote integratability. Existing component can be changed and new component can be added at any given time without the consent of the client. So plug and play, at any given time come and go out. This is data center. You have a data repository, you have a client all the way. At any time I can remove this one, I can add this one. So data center architecture refer to a system access, widely accessed, updated and widely accessed. The client runs independently. Yes, it is independent of all. And this is what you call repository is static. Yes, it is static. And active or can be active blackboard means notification. Notification are active. You cannot remove this one and you can add one. That becomes a new notification comes up. That becomes a active one. Correct? Active one. This is passive and this is active. Block notifies subscribes a client when the changes occur data for interest. Means when you add a new things, it has to get activated. Whereas a repository is passive, and here it is backward. It is a heart of central data storage. Yes, it is the heart of central data storage which communicate. Client are relatively are independent of each other. As you have seen, data storage independent of the client, data storage is independent of the client. Client use of style central issue. If there is use this style when central issue like storage, representation, managed to a large amount of are persist is there available. So data center architecture, at any given time I can come, I can attach any things, and repositories are passive. Repository are passive. This is active, and this is centralized, independent, other forms. Correct. Data flow architecture is modify. The goal is to modifiability. The architecture applied when the input data are to be transferred through series of computational facilities or manipulation, then you get an output. Correct. Input are manipulated and you get an output. Series of manipulation or computational. Correct. A filter it goes up, then the process, then you get an output. Then there are two types of data flow. There is pipe and filter, other one is batch sequences, which goes on this one. So what is pipe and filter? Batch sequence independent, the process is independent, batch is independent, and each is executed after the one finish, then it has to execute, one finish, then execute it, correct? And here it works on parallel. Do remember this one, each component run before the next one, as I said it. So each run before, once this is finished, then it goes to this, once it is finished, then it goes to this one. Pipeline incremental transformation, it's incremented, and filter complex, very complex data, retain no stage between that one, and pipe are simply exist to move data. Parallelly, computational data, if you want to calculate 3-4 values, one goes here, one goes here, and it runs parallelly, you get an output for this one. For this one there is nothing, and for this one is there any output, then you go the parallel complex. It's simple design, a limited way which can component interact, simple reuses, you can able to reuse this, and parallel, as I told, it can merge into parallel and distribution executed. I said to you parallel and major things, pipes, parallel, and batch, one after the other, correct? Disadvantage, exhibit poor performance, as there are number of buffer, ultimate buffer reasons are there may be need ultimate buffer that cannot start buffering zone in between, produce output until they receive all the inputs. They cannot give the output 1, 2, 3. Once they receive the input, then only this output is reformed, correct? These are the major receive output. Use the style when makes sense of view system. One of the product well defined, easily about the output. When you have already defined the product, when you know the output, then it's very non-existent, correct? And sequence of transformation goes up. So major difference are this one. What is this one? Modifiability, and filters are used. Filters are nothing but in between. When you do for computational data flow architecture, for this one is computational or manipulation of data. It is divided into two parts, pipeline filter, and other one is batch filter, correct? Call and return value is nothing but modifiability and scalability. At any given time, software designed to achieve the program structure relatively easy and everything. M, this is your width, this is an input, and I'll show you all those. This is the depth, this is fan out, fan in. I'll give you all those things in the next slides. Main program, subprogram, calling a subprogram routine, decompose program into hierarchical small pieces, correct? In the module, we have decomposed the program into a hierarchical model, and this program call this program call this one, this program call this one, this program call this one, this one program call this one, correct? Typically a single thread to control the traverse through various component of hierarchical. Single thread is used to control. If thread is lost, all the control operation is. If this thread is gone, all the control of this was. If thread is called, this gone, everything. This thread is called, a single thread is used for this one. Remote procedure call, yes. Is subroutines are there. The main program and subprogram style is decomposed. At any given time, I am writing a main program. I write a subprogram name 1, and a subprogram may be somewhere down the line here. So the cursor comes up, execute, then it will go back, correct? This is what the subprogram. Strike, increase performance, distribution component, ensure finite communication between the sub. These are the paint part. So main program, hierarchical one, and single thread is there, and consists of subroutine style. Order of use of style is order of computation is fixed. And more important thing, what are the disadvantages? What is the disadvantages here is that at any given time, I don't need this one, but my program has to go through this one. At any given time, I don't need this one. Why should I need this one? Then at this one, then when the component can make no useful progress while waiting for the result of other component, and it cannot be executed until it receive an input from it. It cannot be executed until it can, and it is no use for it. I am bothered about this execution part only, so I can very useful. and this one, once you receive an input, it will execute it. If I don't receive exit, this part is wasting my space and everything, correct? This is the drawback of this one. The next one, object oriented architecture. What do you mean by it? Explain you encapsulation. It's nothing but information hiding, correct? And operation. There is an operation, there is an operation. What is the message? We don't know. It is nothing but your information hiding. The component of the system is encapsulation. Data and operation must be manipulated by the data. Emphasize building a data flow, how manipulation data access. Keep the internal data represented as hidden. Allowed to access throughout the provider. It's nothing but information hiding process. You don't know what's going on. It permit inheritance and polymerization. You all know about inheritance and polymerization. Communication between component is done via messages. What is it? Messages? Messages are nothing but in the form of hiding. Hiding is nothing but encapsulation. Correct? Object oriented architecture. Next, layered one. One cannot communicate. This is our core layer. This layer can able to communicate with this only. It cannot able to communicate with this one, and this is hidden from the main. This is our core layer. Correct? Assign a component layer order. Control inner component interaction. Control inner component interaction. I just told you up. Only allow layer communicate with the immediate neighbor. This layer can able to communicate with this one. It cannot be able to communicate with this one. No. This layer can able to communicate with this one. This layer cannot be communicated with this one. Correct? So this is what is this. Assign a function such as hardware interfacing kernel operation in our operation. At the lowest, build each successor layer to its proceeding. I build this one, then utility layer, then application layer, then user layer. The lower layer I provide the service to upper layer. The lower layer provide the service to upper layer. This layer provide the service to this layer. This layer provide the service to this layer. This layer provide the service to this layer. Correct? The component layer bridge skip the more important runtime performance. Correct? This is layered architecture. Now let's move on to pattern. I just told you about. We have discussed all this one. Correct? We have discussed about all this one. Now we have this one in architectural design, architectural style. Now we will go for pattern. What is this pattern? Architecture concurrency will occur. Application must be handled multiple tasks manner. What do you mean by multiple pattern? Are there multiple parallelly or operation system management system? Scheduled task is there. When you are having multiple tasks, pattern can able to handle it. We have already discussed in our previous videos. What do you mean by architectural pattern? Multiple tasks and task map. Persist, data persist is there. If you execute one part of it, it's already there. It survives the past of execution of the process. Two patterns are common. When the data is already there, database management pattern is available that store the applicable, and application level pattern that build the future of application architecture. Persist is nothing but data is already there and it's already survived for previous execution, which can be used for two forms. What is that? It can be able to use for data management system and it can be used for application. Distributed, the manner in which the system and component within the system are communicate with other. One component or the system communicate with other. The broker acts as a middleman. What is that? Client component, which act is this one. This gives you the concept of client and server. Correct? I hope you have got the point. Thank you very much.